Hey gang, Sean from The Good Dog. Michelle Hodges Brand asks about how do you regain your confidence after you've had a dog fight within your own pack. It's a really good question, and it's a very nuanced question with a ton of variables involved, and so I have to tread very delicately and very smartly about this because there's no easy answer, there's no one answer, there's no perfect answer. What you've got is a bad situation, like, let's just call it what it is. Pitt, I think, attacked the min pin. Now, is this a cumulative effect of lack of leadership, lack of structure, lack of rules, lack of accountability, and dogs feeling they can start to set rules for other dogs in the house? Is there competition going on? Competition for food, toys, space, or just excitement triggering this stuff? It's hard to say. I don't have that information. But regardless, if you're trying to regain your confidence, the best thing you can do is move very, very slowly. So your dog that attacked should be muzzle conditioned. Watch the videos, search Josh Moran muzzle conditioning. That works great. We also have one on our The Good Dog Training YouTube. Shows muzzle conditioning like start to finish. And your dog that has attacked should be wearing a muzzle, a properly fit muzzle. We typically use Baskervilles. The Baskervilles are great because dogs can hang out in them for extended periods of time. They can drink, they can eat, they can pant, and that makes it a much more comfortable experience for them. And you can leave the muzzle on for longer periods of time and not have any issues. You can also use blanket yarn, which we do, to wrap around any points of contact on the dog's face that might cause irritation or abrasions or anything like that. Anyways, so for me, if I was in your shoes, I would absolutely muzzle condition my pitty that went after the other dog. That way I'm ensured that if things go south, at least no one's going to get dramatically injured. Somebody might get traumatized, but no one's going to be actually injured, or shouldn't be. If anything happens, it should be a very minor situation at its worst. It sounds terrible, but right? We're trying to work through terrible. So muzzle condition, dog wearing the muzzle. You can put a long line on your pitty and have your pitty drag the long line like a 15-footer around the house, connected to like a martingale or a flat buckle, or a prong if you're doing that and you're supervising. And then that way, if you see anything you don't like, you can address it. So pull the dog off, correct, whatever. But I want to get down to the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are typically when we see dogs starting to go after, and there's always exceptions, but typically when we see dogs starting to go after other dogs, it's because they feel they can. And that's typically a leadership gap or a leadership vacuum, a structure vacuum, rule vacuum, an accountability vacuum, which leads dogs, when there's a vacuum, to go after things that they don't like or feel in competition with. So that means I would also go about beyond the muzzle conditioning, because that's just management. That's just going to prevent damage. That's not going to move you forward. So moving forward and trying to create confidence and trying to make progress would entail heavy duty training. And that's going to be up to you how you pursue it. Get a balanced trainer who knows what they're doing, who's worked with serious situations before, and can show you that in videos and show you that they actually know how to create results and are successful for the most part. That would be something I would probably be looking for. Tackling this yourself could be a very, very challenging endeavor. If I was doing a phone consult with you and you're like, Sean, here's what's going on, what should I do? I would be like, muzzle condition your pitty, long line on your pitty, and make sure both dogs are being trained to an extremely high level, not just obedience commands, but courteous, polite, deferential, awesome behavior with zero attitude, zero competition, zero possessive, zero snark, zero any of that stuff that creates tension and conflict between dogs. So if you really start to work towards building that, becoming a strong leader in your house, and then making sure that that strong leadership ethos and concept is trickling down through training, and your dogs are all being imbued with this, like, whoa, we've got to behave a different way because there's serious rules in the house and they're being enforced and there's consequences for our actions and things like that, then you'll find your dogs will typically start making better choices. I would be looking for comprehensive training. Like if someone's going to come in and just like try and just address the aggression or just address the situation, just in kind of like a singular event, it's not going to give you what you're looking for. What you're looking for is how to get your dogs to feel different about each other, about you, and about the environment in totality. And that means that you need to teach your dogs how to be conditioned to be calm, how to be conditioned to be relaxed, how to listen to you in all situations and at all times, and to not go into autopilot where they feel they can start to make their own rules and their own decisions about things they like or dislike. And that really is a byproduct of comprehensive training. And that's not an easy thing to undertake. That takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, work. Got to show up every day, got to have your head screwed on straight as far as like how you're going to lead. You've got to make sure you've got the best tools in place. You've got to make sure you've got a great comprehensive program. That would be my strategy. And then as I put all of those things in place, I would just be very organic, meaning like slow, patient, and watchful of what's progressing between my dogs as far as regaining my confidence. I certainly wouldn't roll the dice and have my dogs hanging out together and have the attacker off muzzle. It's a great way to have a more disastrous outcome. So how do you rebuild and regain confidence? By seeing success, by seeing results, by seeing a dog change, by seeing behaviors become more consistent, more solid, more predictable. That's how you do it. That's how you get there. It's not a mystical, magical thing. And if you're putting all of the, and in your comment, you put some of the, or you put a good deal of pressure on yourself that you're not conveying the right vibes. Like, yes, if you're walking around on eggshells and you're freaked out and you're nervous and you're overly anxious and you're overreacting to every situation, yes, that can contribute. But there's a lot of talk in the dog training community of like every thought that transpires, every feeling you have immediately is transferred to the dog, and the dog is like, yes. It's not that simple. Overt actions, overt reactions, overt states of mind that you're in consistently can, yes, send messages to your dog that you are in fact not leading that household. But if you're nervous, if you're worried, if you're concerned, hey, any of us that deal with like challenging dogs, we're all in that space. How you manage it, how you control it, how you channel it, that's where you get yourself into a good spot. You can be worried and you can be concerned, as you should be, without being overtly panicked and freaked out. Having the right tools in place, the right safety mechanisms, the right preparation allow us to step into that space and be calm, relaxed, confident, chilled out, because we know that if things go sideways, there's not going to be any devastating results or devastating outcomes. So I hope that helps. That's really the long, not so much the short of it, but the long of it, because it is a long thing. And only owners that are really determined to turn this stuff around manage to turn it around, because it's a really difficult, challenging situation. And the last thing I'll leave you with is that in some situations, it's not even something that can be solved or sorted out without heavy-duty management. Sometimes dogs will just not get along after they've had major brawls. So that's something else to consider, which doesn't mean you're a failure if you can't manage to get them into a good space. It just means that maybe they've gotten too much tension and too much trauma, and now the trust is just at such a low level that you can't actually bring them back together. So anyways, hope that helps. A lot of info in there, and unpack it, sift through it, watch it a bunch of times, and hopefully it'll help you guys get on a better track. All right, thanks.